Hi, my name is Nitin Jawahar, and our group has decided to conduct the memory color experiment, where we discuss how color affects short-term memory.
What is short-term memory? Short-term memory refers to the capacity for holding a small amount of information in an active, readily available state for a brief period. It ranges from a few seconds to a minute. Enables heuristic tasks. For example, deductive reasoning, learning comprehension, and following directions. Procedure. Participants will be given lists of 10 items with different colors. They will be asked to recall all items that they can remember from the list. Participants will form an order of words that they can remember after around 10 seconds.
One similar study which relates towards what we are conducting is Glanzer and Kunitz from 1966. How the study worked is that they gave two groups of participants the same list of words. One group was asked to recall the words after seeing the list, while the other group was asked to count backwards from 30 before recalling the list. Our study and the Glanzer and Kunitz are both similar as they could receive the same results.
So why did we choose this experiment? The reason why we chose this particular experiment is because we were interested in the effects of short-term memory and its external factors that play a significant role. Our group wants to witness how much can people remember in a short period of time.
Our group hypothesizes that color is an external factor which can affect short-term memory, as we believe that the participants of our experiment will be able to remember more words if an assortment of colors, ones which don't serve any correlation to their word, are associated with them.
The structure of memory goes as follows. Sensory memory is the earliest stage of memory, and it acts as a buffer for stimuli received through a person's sense of touch. It's very brief, lasting only a fraction of a second. Meanwhile, working memory involves the conscious processing of information, where we manipulate and work with the information needed for cognitive tasks. Long-term memory is information stored for prolonged periods, potentially a lifetime. And this has an unlimited capacity, which is responsible for storing information about our experiences, knowledge of the world, and skills we have learned and more.
The control group of our experiment revolves around the participants who will receive a 10-second video with the words that will be showcased in black color. And our experimental group is the same 10-second video, however, the words will be in random assortment of colors.
Our experimental design goes as follows. The independent variable for our experiment is the participants who volunteered in either our control or experimental group. Either the participant received the video with black font or color font, depending on what video we chose for them. The dependent variable for our experiment stems from the results that are attached from the participants who write down how many words they can recall and write down on a sheet of paper. Our group will also determine what words did each participant, regardless of group, got wrong and right by making a bar graph. Some of the confounding variables that could potentially alter the course of our experiment include people with color blindness, the relative state of the participant, the time of day, and also the crowdedness of the room that the participant is writing in.
From our results, we can clearly see a slight marginal increase with people who received our experimental video. This could be due to a variety of factors, one mainly being that the participants were somewhat able to have a more enjoyable experience with seeing different colors associated with words that weren't really correspondent with them.
After obtaining the collective data of all the participants who volunteered for our experiment, the consensus for our group was that color did have a slight impact upon the acquisition of STM. According to our data, participants who volunteered as a part of our control group got an average of 5 words correct, whereas the participants who contributed to our experimental group got an average of 7 correct. Although this may seem like a slight increase, we did not account for the numerous confounding variables affecting our results. Examples of these would include the time of day in which the participants watched our videos, their mental state throughout the video, and the many different areas in which we recorded them. After careful consideration, our group didn't feel confident with the results we have. There was a clear fluctuation in the graph, and we've also had to take into account the different time constraints for each participant because they were sometimes unavailable. One way in which we could have ran our experiment better is to have the participants in the same room. Our results would definitely be more accurate if both the control and experimental group participants performed in a classroom setting without any interference. Another way in which we could have ran our experiment better is to debrief each participant's state. We can do this by utilizing a form of operant conditioning by enticing them with a reward if they get all 10 words correct.
The significance of this experiment is to establish whether color plays a role in the recall of short-term memory. Although there may be other external factors that can affect STM, our group decided to go outside the box. We wanted to research how different colors might affect a person's attention span of memorizing crucial forms of information from a variety of sources. As we look at the different objects around us which have color, we can see that those very same objects hold an emotional significance to us. The object may be something small like a photograph, and we wanted to see if the same logic applied to common words we use in our everyday lives. We realized this is to be the case because our data establishes an increased level of retention coming from participants who are part of the experimental group.
Thank you for listening.
Okay, stop.